Good morning. Good morning. My name is Donald Wood, and I am with Just Communities of Arkansas, a partner organization of the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement. I want to welcome everyone to the fourth and final day of Arkansas's observance of the National Day of Racial Healing. Observance. I thought a lot about that word recently. In the context of this week's racial healing event, by definition, observance is an act or an instance of watching, noting, or perceiving. So why are the acts of watching, noting, or perceiving so critical to racial healing and advancing racial equity? Because seeking the truth, knowing the truth, and reckoning with the truth of our racial history is necessary for us all to tell the truth. And telling the whole truth, the good, the bad, and the inhumane, is not simply a matter of words, but is a physical act. So although we will wrap up this 2021's observance of the National Day of Racial Healing in Arkansas today, we now realize that what we have learned and what we have felt from our experiences as a result of this week's events are our calls to action. Constant calls to align our actions with our values in the pursuit of a just, equitable Arkansas. Know too that although our individual will, humility, and courage are vital to ensuring racial equity in Arkansas, this also must always be a collective effort, an effort steeped in a type of healing that centers how reparations, which simply means to repair, are at the heart and soul of our democracy, and we are the people. So now it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce our next speaker, Queen Clarice Abdul Bey.
Thank you, Donald. I appreciate that beautiful introduction. And good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our last day, but actually it's just the beginning of the National Day of Racial Healing in the state of Arkansas. I just want to say that, you know, behind us we have sponsors, beautiful sponsors, and on the screen before we started, we had our page up that's behind us, and we just want to thank all of the sponsors and the partners who have joined in.
Couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah, we couldn't have done any of this without you. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your patience with our technical issues and everything. We just appreciate it. This has been a labor of love, and so we are very grateful. What I would like to do is I have here with me, this is part of my healing tool. This is a steel tongue drum, and I want to play just a little tune what I want to do before I play that starting tune is I want to say also that just like Donald said, this is a collective effort, that it's going to take all of us to do this work. And it's going to take us working together across any lines, all lines, political lines, religious lines, whatever lines that are there, if there are any. And I would like to say that I'd like to see those lines come down, because I think we are unable to unify with all of those lines and borders. So with that said, I want us to take a moment to think about this week, think about what we expected, and erase the expectation. A lot of times when we expect certain things, we are disappointed, and without it, we're not. We come into it with our whole selves, our minds open, and we allow for what needs to happen. And we are celebrating and we are honoring steps toward truth, healing, and transformation. And so I want that to be on the forefront of our minds today and after. So thank you very much. We're going to take 20 seconds of silence to reflect on the week, reflect on how we can collectively come together to continue this work, again, of truth, healing, and transformation. Thank you. Over to Donald Wood. And are you there, Donald?
Yes.
Okay.
So now I believe we are going to turn it over to Dylan Edgedale of the UCA Center of Economic and Community Development.
All right, thank you, Donald. On October 8th of 2020, the University of Central Arkansas Center for Community and Economic Development had the honor of hosting the first annual Arkansas Racial Equity Summit, inviting community leaders from across the state of Arkansas to learn more about the history of racial injustice in Arkansas, the current inequities that exist today, and how we can move forward as a state to counteract those inequities. This virtual event attracted over 200 community leaders from every part of the state and resulted in meaningful conversations around how we can create positive change in our communities. In 2021, we partnered with the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement and the Arkansas Municipal League to encourage communities to sign a proclamation recognizing the National Day of Racial Healing and hosted virtual events this week in honor of this day. This year, 85 communities, counties, and institutions of higher education, as well as Governor Asa Hutchinson, signed this proclamation, which shows the dedication of these communities to promote racial healing and equality for all. To continue this conversation, the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement and the Center for Community and Economic Development are excited to announce the 28-day Arkansas Racial Equity and Social Justice Challenge. This is a daily challenge starting on February 1st that gives an actionable step each day to learn more about racial and social justice and how you can take action in your personal life and in your community. These actions include reading articles, watching videos, viewing resources, and reflecting on what you've learned. We've also partnered with the Yarn Storytelling to offer storytelling workshops at 5:30 p.m. on February 8th, 15th, and 22nd to create a space to understand your story and how it can be used for positive change. We believe by taking these daily steps, you can learn more about yourself and how you can be a part of the process of racial healing in your community. You can find more information about the 28-day Arkansas Racial Equity and Social Justice Challenge by visiting the Facebook page for daily prompts to take action. You can also visit the Center for Community and Economic Development's website at uca.edu/cced and the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement's website at apjmm.org to learn more about our efforts as we continue to strive for racial equity and healing. Thank you for your time today, and we hope you join us in this challenge to create a more equitable Arkansas. At this time, I'll turn it back over to Donald.
Thank you, Dylan. And now it's my honor to pass the virtual mic to Lisa Hicks Gilbert, founder of the Descendants of the Elaine Massacre of 1919.
All right. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Lisa Hicks Gilbert. I'm founder and advocate for the Descendants of the Elaine Massacre of 1919, born and built in Snow Lake, Rashaw, and Elaine, Arkansas. On October 7th, 1919, with blood still soaking in the soil of the cotton fields, more than 100 Black sharecroppers from Elaine, Arkansas, including those who were former slaves, were locked up in the Helena jail with charges that included murder and night riding. On this day, a flyer went out across Phillips County. This flyer instructed all Negroes to go back to their homes, back to the fields, back to work, and to be silent. Arkansas, it's time to give them their voices back. We often speak of racial healing, restorative justice. We have forums, press conferences, workshops, etc. We have a multitude of social media pages and annual celebrations geared toward reconciliation and the healing of past wounds, trying to figure out exactly what is transgenerational trauma and how we can address it and help heal it. In other words, we talk a lot about how we feel and what we should do. The healing begins with the action. One of my favorite quotes is by the late James Baldwin, which says, "Everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." Arkansas, acknowledging and facing the horror of the Elaine Massacre, the wrongful arrests and convictions of the Black sharecroppers, and the deafening silence in its aftermath is long overdue. Though we indeed should recognize the fear-fed silence of the survivors of the Elaine Massacre, we should face the injustice that needs to be corrected. We should face the fact that 122 hardworking innocent men who were going about their business of organizing for their fair share of harvests and fair accounting of store charges, trying to make better lives for their families. We should face the fact that they were falsely accused, arrested, convicted, and imprisoned. So after more than 100 years, we, the descendants of the Elaine Massacre of 1919, implored Governor Asa Hutchinson and the Arkansas legislature to exonerate the 122 Elaine defendants, understanding that not only is this a step towards facing and righting these wrongs, but it helps Arkansas to move closer toward true racial healing and hopefully towards a hate crime bill long overdue in the state of Arkansas. Holding these 122 men up, using our voices to speak on their behalf, gives peace to all of the descendants of Elaine. It helps to soothe the pain of transgenerational trauma. It gives us more than a seat at a racial healing forum. It gives us more than an X to stand on behind a speaker at a press conference. Helping to do this for our ancestors, using our voice to speak for our ancestors, helps us all to heal. So we are here today to use our voices to ask that the 122 Elaine defendants be exonerated and finally, fully know freedom. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Ms. Gilbert. And now I'm going to turn it over to Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement co-convener, Kwame Abdul-Bey.
Thank you, Donald.
And Lisa, thank you.
Yes. I'm Kwame Abdul-Bey, and with Clarice, we are the co-conveners, co-founders of the Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement, which is a joint project with Just Communities of Arkansas and the great Donald Wood. One of the things that we strive to do is we, just like Lisa was just talking about the importance of correcting historical wrongs, we are interested in doing that here in the state of Arkansas as a working partner with the Equal Justice Initiative in Montgomery, Alabama. And in doing that, we've been working with State Senator Joyce Elliott to get some legislation passed that would speak towards exactly what Lisa was talking about. In the last legislative session, the bill was known as SB 591. And what SB 591 would have done had it passed out of the Education Committee and passed in the legislature, in the General Assembly, it would have set up a statewide Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation Commission to begin the process of studying our history, our difficult history, in a way that we can begin today to acknowledge what has happened and to move forward and work with each other as fellow Arkansans. Again, it did not pass out of the Education Committee last year. However, we are currently working with Senator Elliott again, and hopefully with even more senators and representatives to get it reintroduced during this current session. And we're working to get it amended to include some additional things. And I wanted to just go over with you a couple of the things that we are adding to this bill. The first thing is we're looking to have Arkansas be the first state to officially recognize the National Day of Racial Healing as an official statewide observance in the law. Section 1 of the new bill would create the statewide observance of the National Day of Racial Healing in the state of Arkansas. This year, we were very honored to have 88 mayors.
85, 80, I think about 85.
Yeah.
Right around
near 90. Near 90 mayors, county judges, university chancellors, college presidents, school superintendents, and civic organizations to all issue proclamations to recognize the National Day of Racial Healing in the state of Arkansas. With this gives us the groundswell, the momentum to go to the legislator and say, the people have spoken. the elected officials that really matter in the day-to-day lives of all Arkansans have spoken. And we would like for the National Day of Racial Healing in the state of Arkansas to be a statewide observance that would occur every year on the Tuesday after Martin Luther King Day. The next thing that we're going to be adding in that particular bill is the creation of 75 community remembrance projects on the county level that will be run out of the county judge's office in cooperation with the mayors. And what these community remembrance projects will be set to do is to work in that particular county on the particular instances of historical racial injustices and historical racial inequities and social injustice that have occurred, and begin having countywide discussions where Black, white, rich, poor, young, old, all come together at the same table and begin having discussions on the county level on how Arkansas can be number one for once. And we want to be number one as a bastion of racial healing, racial equity, and social justice in the United States. And we can do that. We just need to begin. And this week shows that we have the ability to begin that process. The next thing in the bill will be, as the original bill was, the creation of the Arkansas Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation Commission. And basically that organization will be historians, educators, elected officials, and community members and descendants who will come together to form this commission, and they will basically oversee what the 75 community remembrance projects on the county level are doing. The next thing in the bill will address exactly what Lisa just spoke about. We must begin the healing by righting the wrongs. 101 years ago, 122 Black Arkansans were wrongfully convicted of various crimes. 12 of them were sentenced to death in Southern Phillips County. The Elaine defendants must be fully exonerated. And they must be fully exonerated now, not tomorrow, not next week, not next year. We are working to get them fully exonerated now. The historical record has been corrected, and the historical record shows the records of the trials show that these men and women were wrongfully convicted. And this bill will immediately exonerate all of them, paving the road for some healing to begin with the descendants of the 1919 Elaine Race Massacre. And that's pretty much what the bill will be covering. We hope to get it completed. It's about 85% complete. So once we get that other 15% complete, we'll get it over to State Senator Joyce Elliott for consultation, and then also look for additional sponsors that will also put their name on this bill and move it forward. So I just want to thank everyone for giving us the time to let you know what we're doing here in Arkansas, because we want to do something that we missed the chance to do 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we had the opportunity to set a stage and create a method by which all of these incidents of historical racial injustice could be resolved. We had the opportunity to do that, and we failed as a state to properly commemorate and acknowledge the centennial anniversary of the Elaine Race Massacre. Now Tulsa, Oklahoma, they're doing their centennial, and they're going to show us how it's properly done. But that doesn't mean that we have to stop because we didn't do what we were supposed to do. We have an opportunity to jump back into the race and be side by side with Tulsa, Oklahoma, side by side with Rosewood, Florida, and others. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Donald Wood.
Thank you, Kwame. And thank you, Dylan, and thank you, Lisa, for helping us, the audience, and hopefully others that will see the recording of this to get beyond just understanding the importance of knowing the truth, but reckoning with that truth. This work moving forward is going to be hard, as it should be, but it's necessary work. And we appreciate everyone today for helping kind of establish the tone for what will be, what we know will be transformational change in Arkansas. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Arkansas Peace and Justice Memorial Movement co-convener Clarice Abdul-Bey to give us our closing remarks and open it up for questions.
Thank you, Donald, and thank you, Kwame, for that. That was
Thank
wonderful.
you. It was.
I want to thank everyone for coming. What I'm going to do is open it up for closing remarks and questions.
Can we voice our partners so that we can voice who they were and everything?
Oh, you're talking about our partnership?
Yes.
Yeah, I did, but we can do it again.
Well, I mean, voice them. The Arkansas Municipal League,
yes,
the Association of Arkansas Counties, Just Communities of Arkansas, the Little Rock Central High School National Historic Site, Ouachita Foothills Youth Media Arts and Literacy Collective, the Arkansas State Conference of the NAACP, Braver Angels Central Arkansas, the University of Central Arkansas, the UAMS College of Public Health, UALR, and the University of Arkansas Clinton School of Public Service, Urban League of the State of Arkansas, and did we leave anybody out?
Just scoot over.
Oh, voila. Oh, the yarn. The yarn, and
yes,
of course, we can never forget the descendants of the Elaine Massacre of 1919.
And we definitely have you. We'll have something for you. I'm putting together a little video, but we'll have something for you. But thank you so much. Thank you to all of our partners and sponsors. Again, we couldn't have done this without you. Now we're going to open it up for questions, and please put the word question in the chat to be evaluated to panelist status. Elevated, not evaluated, but elevated to panelist status so that you can ask your question on screen.
And I think Tane had a question.
Yeah, I think Tane had a question. I'm going to go ahead and promote her.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for what you're doing today. I'm honored to be here, and I'm so happy that y'all were able to make this big announcement and this call to move forward, even though it wasn't able to happen on the Capitol steps as originally planned. So thank you for your work. I am just absolutely blown away, and I'm so honored to witness the work that's happening and to be here to support you all. I just wanted to actually mention that an opportunity to continue thinking about some of these issues and a sort of connection to the challenge over the 28 days of thinking about racial healing might include an opportunity to attend a virtual experience of an exhibit at the Baum Art Gallery at the University of Central Arkansas. So it just opened yesterday, but there is a special exhibit called Say Something, the Art of Protest, and many of the artists featured are specifically engaging with issues of racial healing and reckoning with the past. And it is a mix of artists who are both nationally renowned, but also some of our local activist artists. And so being able to promote their work and to see the work that they're doing, I think is really exciting and profound. You can go in person to the Baum Gallery, but I know that that's difficult in the pandemic and there's sort of limited entrance. So they've actually made the full exhibition also available online. I can share the link in the chat, but I know it may have gotten a little bit buried. So it might be helpful, Dylan, if you can repost that too. I would appreciate that. But again, I am just blown away. Ms. Gilbert, hearing your words was really inspiring today as well. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
Tane, thank you for you and your students being with us throughout this entire journey over the last couple of years in this type of work. And I just want to acknowledge that this exhibit that you just spoke on, we attempted to incorporate that into our calendar of events. However, things didn't mesh out the way we wanted to. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
And we will definitely include that link on all of our Facebook pages so that everyone will know about it. And when we send out the thank you newsletter to all of we've had in this past week, we've had over 900 participants from throughout the United States and Canada in the activities that we've done. And when we send out the newsletter that will have the links to every single video that was created, we will also include a link to the exhibit so that people can see that exhibit.
Thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I think we had a question from Jack Wool. I'm going to promote him to panelist.
Thank you.
Hey, Jack, you can go ahead and unmute and ask your question. All right, it looks like you might be having an issue, but here's the question. Is there any thought of other restitution for the 122, or is that pushing it too far? That was the question from Jack Wool.
Good question.
We'll give that to Lisa.
I'm sorry, ask again.
The question was, is there any thought of other restitution for the 122, or is that pushing it too far?
I think, I'm not going to say it's pushing it too far. What I will say is that, you know, exonerating them, to me personally, and I'm just going to speak for myself now, even though I advocate for the descendants, that just this part is so important because of the trauma, the silence for so many years. Just getting to this step right now, exonerating the 122 Elaine defendants, is what's most important at this moment.
Yes. Yes. And then we can take more steps in restorative justice and reconciliation.
Exactly.
Yeah. That this is the opening.
Yes.
I like the way you put that.
All right, any other questions?
Can I expound on that just a bit?
Yes.
Okay. And he said restitution for the 122 defendants. And one of the things with the descendants of Elaine that we are working on is reclaiming the narrative. The historical, the parts that are left out, the parts that our ancestors our grandparents and great grandparents conveyed to us. And one of the parts that gets left out a lot is the reason why and what was the future, the sharecroppers, what were they looking toward in their organizing? One of the things that they were doing was putting together their little $5 or $3 in hopes of buying some land right down from Elaine below Rashaw in a town, my dad's favorite place to hang out, Melwood, Arkansas. So there was some land that Robert Hill had told them the government is going to be selling, and they were all, and that was one of the reasons why they, were wanting to make sure they got a fair share. They were all trying to put their little monies together and buy this land. And, Carmen Clarice mentioned Tulsa. All of the sharecroppers all over the country, everyone knew of Tulsa, how it was prospering. And in each state, sharecroppers, they wanted a Tulsa for themselves. So when you talk about restitution for them, I think of restorative justice, and I think of us as descendants trying to realize some of their dreams. So when I think about restitution, when people think about reparations, I don't think big check. I think realizing what they start and how their lives, they were in prison, their lives were cut short and they weren't able to realize their dreams. So a lot of my purpose in advocating for the descendants and honoring my ancestors is trying to realize some of the dreams they, never had the chance to realize for themselves.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
And not to minimize anything you said, but yes, big check. Because in order to realize some of those dreams, we're gonna need big check. So yes to that too.
You said check singular, check.
But if it's big check, then we don't need checks.
Yeah.
So
because right about a zero.
all of that is needed. All of it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right, any other questions?
Yes. Any other questions? And if we have, I think I saw Tippy McCullough on here when I was looking into the chat, checking things. If we have any legislators or elected officials on this National Day of Racial Healing in the state of Arkansas, one of the last days, if you'd like to say something or
we greatly welcome it.
Say hello to everyone. Yes, absolutely. You can raise your hand and we will promote you to panelist, or you can just put it in the chat. Tippy raised her hand.
You can promote Tippy, please.
Promoting her.
Thank you, Dylan. She's so great.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Hey, good morning. Thank you all so much for everything you've been doing, not just right now, but for years. I'm so grateful for all the sponsors and looking forward to, when appropriate, certainly want to sign on as a co-sponsor to this really, really important bill. And I don't want to take any more time, but I just appreciate you all so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you too.
We truly appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do.
Yes,
we really do.
From the beginning, there's been a list of legislators, mayors, county judges, and other elected officials that have given us full support from day one. And Tippy has been one of them. So we really thank you for everything that you do.
Absolutely.
And I think we're out of questions.
I think so. So if there's nothing else, Donald, did you want to end with anything?
Yeah, he's great at doing that.
No, I am at a loss. I'm ready to act. I'm done with words. Let's go.
Yes.
All right.
Again, thank you to everyone, sponsors and all. We really appreciate everyone coming today on this very important last day. But again, like I said, this is the beginning of so much. And we have one more day. That's tomorrow. And that's what Dr. Duncan was talking about. And that is tomorrow, right?
Yes.
No, is that?
Well,
Is that
that's well, it opened yesterday, so it's
Okay.
available whenever.
Okay.
But we can do a targeted promotion for
Right.
tomorrow.
And so put in the chat, if you want more information about any and all events, you can go to apjmm on our website, apjmm.org. We don't really have any events there,
Yes.
but we also have a Facebook page that we continue to put events on, and then go to Eventbrite, National Day of Racial Healing. We'll be uploading the more of the what's happening on Saturday there. So thank you all so very much. We appreciate you. Have a beautiful weekend, and let's continue to do the work. Say hi,
Okay.
All
Lauren.
right. Thank you, guys.
Lauren, say hi to everybody.
Is there a film tonight?
Yes, there is a film tonight.
Film.
All right. We'll send out everything. Have a great day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.